Alrighty, good morning everyone. Welcome to Stockton Unified School District State of the District for the 24-25 school year. Let's give a big round of applause to our Chavez Jazz Band under the direction of our Coleman. Are they wonderful or what? They're absolutely fantastic. It's so nice to see all of you here today. We will start off with our standing of the presentation of colors from the Franklin High School and the Pledge of Allegiance led by the SUSD Police Explorers. Our presentation of colors from Franklin High School. And while we're waiting for them, we will also let you know that our national anthem will be by Stag's Band, and they are coming in. You could please stand.
Color guard, hold, left, face, present, arms.
Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the national anthem. Thank you. Thank you very much to our Stockton Unified School District's Police Explorers, our Franklin High School Colors, and our Edison High School Colors, and then our Stag High School Band. Thank you very much. Wonderful job. We'd like to bring up our Superintendent, Dr. Michelle Rodriguez.
It is so wonderful to see all of you. So hopefully, if you've come to an SUSD event in the last year or so, hopefully, what do you always see surrounding you? Students, children. So we do that purposely and intentionally because that is why we are here, right? So we always have, whether it's visuals or it's children themselves, we want to show that that is the exact reason for everything that we do. And so building off of that is our Board of Trustees. So we have wonderful Board of Trustees, and so I'm going to hopefully be able to switch this. Here we go. So we have 7 Board of Trustees. We have 2 here today, and we're going to introduce them. They later will be saying a few words, but we have our Board President, Kenitha Stevens, our Vice President, Sofia Colon, and not able to be here today, but we have our Clerk, Donald Denaire, Area 1 Trustee, Cecilia Mendez, Area 2 Trustee, Angel Ann Flores, Area 3 Trustee, Alicia Rico, and Area 4 Trustee, Ray Zulueta. So we have over 34,000 students that we serve every single day. And so to do that, it takes a large team. And so this year, we have over 5,000 staff members. So you might think, well, last year, it was a lot less. And that is because this year, we have been able to almost fully staff we have our bus drivers fully staffed. We now have our food and nutrition services fully staffed. And most of our key positions. And so the only way to have all that is to have a very stable team. And so I would like to introduce my personal team, who I couldn't do without, and that is my cabinet. And so if you, most of them might be out and about, but I would like to introduce them. So Casey Klappenbach, who is the Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services. There he is. Our Assistant Superintendent of Student Support Services, Dr. Susana Ramirez. Our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Glenda Lee Gascat-Rios. Our interim CBO, Joanne Juarez. Our Chief of Police, Dr. Myra Franco. She's out with her name, maybe? There she is. Oh, there she is. She's hiding. Our Director of School Safety, Marcus Omlin. So is Marcus here? And then someone who worked really, really hard to help put on this event, our Director of Communications, Melinda Mesa. Now permanently reporting from Stockton Unified. And I would be remiss to not mention, because we have an excellent extended cabinet and site administration. So if you work at the district office, or if you are a site administrator, can you stand as well? Thank you so much. And this year, we tried really hard. So we have a saying that says, whole child, whole family, whole community. And so you can't have that without parents and community, right? And so this year, I'm so happy and proud. I'm looking at a whole row of them throughout here, to have our parent leaders here. So if I can have all of our parent leaders please stand up. So todos los padres que son líderes. And there's a lot more of them that should have stood up. So let's wait. Stand up, parent leaders over there. Let's go. Okay. We couldn't do it without you, so thanks so much. Okay. All right, so I'll pass it back off.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. And we'd also like to thank all of you who are here today. We have some special people. We have Superintendent of Schools of San Joaquin County, Dr. Troy Brown. We have County Board of Supervisors, Mr. Paul Canepa. I see we have a lot of special guests, so we want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Now, we would like to go ahead and introduce our Van Buren Ensemble. We do have some very talented students here at SUSD, wouldn't you agree? Next up, I'd like to bring up our board president, Ms. Kenitha Stevens.
So what makes the school district great is not just the staff, but is making sure that we have student engagement that looks like this, so that we just celebrate the momentum of our student engagement that's happening across the district, because you all have done some amazing work to make sure that everything that we do is coupled with student engagement and with their active voices assisting us with guiding education forward. So I'm honored to stand before you today, and I thought that I would do something just a little bit different. So last year, I stood here and I talked about the promises that we want to make to you as our district. But today I want to speak to you just about the why, because it is the why that keeps us going in education. Education is one of the toughest and hardest jobs that anyone could actually do. So when I was up this morning, I had this amazing speech and I was ready to rock, and I said, this is the speech that is going to seal the deal. But as I was beginning to flat iron my hair, I noticed a lot of gray. And I thought to myself, what is causing all of this gray? Is it that I volunteer and with many different organizations? Is it because I work 6 days a week to keep my own business going? And I thought about the one thing that keeps me going is all of the things that I do is connected to my why. It is the why that in tough times that allows us to keep going. It pulls us out of the bed in the morning time, and it keeps us from giving up, because giving up is easy to do. So as I thought about the why, I began to think about what's causing the gray hair. What is doing this to me at such a young age, right? And I thought about it is all the things that I do, but it is not the why, it's the how. It is the how, right? How do you make things happen? How do you, as educators, continue to do the work that you do? Then I began to think about the data that we've been looking at to really drive Stockton Unified forward. And it is in coming to the table and wrestling with the data that we come up with innovative ideas to make statements like it's not just about K-3 literacy, it's also about including fourth graders in literacy to make it happen. It is the how that allows us to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and wrestle with the day before it begins. But at the end of the day, it is the why that continues to allow all of you to drive your cars into Stockton Unified District parking lots and get out and do the work. It is the why that keeps us going every single day, that says we can do more, we can be more, and every student deserves a high quality education, no matter the area code that they come from. So as I thought about this moment, I thought about this moment is just for Stockton Unified, right? Those who are in the room can listen, but it is about the why that continues to allow you to make this choice. We choose to come to Stockton Unified every single day. This is an active choice that we make to say that we're going to change not just the kids in Stockton, but we're changing the families, and we're changing the cultural relevancy in Stockton, and we're changing the history in Stockton, because every time you change the mind of a young student, you change their lives. So it is the why that keeps us going. I won't stand before you too much longer, because you have some great people who will come out and talk about some amazing things that we've undertaken, but I just want to encourage every Stockton Unified School District staff to remember your why, to remember the thing that got you to this place, to remember the goals that you have in place to support every student in Stockton Unified. So today, remember your why.
Thank you, President Kenitha Stevens. And now we'd like to have up our Vice President, Ms. Sophia Colon.
Well, good morning, everyone. So as I look around the room, coming in this morning, saying hello to everyone, I'm always filled with so much gratitude and joy that we have just about every department and every community represented here. And I just want to thank you all for coming, for spending the day with us, or the morning with us, as we share with you some of the exciting things that are going on in this past year. I first, though, want to thank everyone here for your continued partnership, because as our President Stevens said, we couldn't do this alone. We can't do this work alone. We need everyone, all of our collective effort, to see our students succeed. And that's really what we're about. We're not just about closing the achievement gap here, but we're preparing our students, as you saw. We're preparing them for the next chapter in their life, to be leaders in their communities and their families. And it all starts here. It all starts with us, our why. When we wake up in the morning and we step out, we drive our cars, we park in SUSD parking lots, that why is driving us, and it is affecting and influencing, impacting our students. So a few points I want to just share with you. First, I want to encourage you all that as a board, we are laser focused on the future. We are laser focused on strategies that are going to get our students to that next level. We are not distracted, and we won't be distracted. We are committed to doing the work that's needed to be done to see results. That's our commitment to you. Want to highlight a few things I'm very excited about. Our graduation rates have improved, as you'll hear more about, and a part of that is because we have all stepped up. We've all stepped up, and we have committed to using some of the intervention strategies like credit recovery. That's making sure each and every student is going to graduate with their peers. We're not leaving anyone behind. Want to also highlight that our CTE programs are off and running. We're here in Stockton Unified's first ever barn. That is not by chance. It wasn't done just at a tip of a hat. This took work and collaboration, and it's a testament to everything that we want to do going forward. We want to make sure we're collaborating with each other so that things like this can happen for our students. We also embarked on several initiatives for health and wellness. And I want to highlight one in particular that touched me at a board meeting. We had a report on the panorama feedback, the report of our students reporting of how they felt, some of the things that they're thinking about, what stresses them. And something that really touched me and something that I think about often is that our youngest students care very deeply about their family. And in particular, when one word was plucked out of their responses, one word, grandma, their grandmother. And it makes me realize and understand that our students care very deeply, not just about their family, but that multi-generational unit that our families are a part of. We live in that multi-generational family unit, and grandmother is someone that is very, very revered. Those initiatives remind us again of why we want to help our students achieve their dreams, achieve their goals, because they want to help their family. Another couple more points here, our equity focus. So I'm so excited that we are embarking on an equity audit. We've been working hard to get things going. It's a process that's going to take us time, but in the right direction. And I'm so glad that we're starting that work, again, just to ensure that our students, each and every one, no matter where they're coming from, no matter what their circumstances are today, yesterday, or in the future, that they're going to be equipped with the resources that they need to succeed. And for the future, right? One thing I can't be more excited about enough is our facilities master plan. So if you didn't know, we didn't have one for some time, but we worked hard, we surveyed, we got a team of folks that went out to every single site, took down information, talked with principals, talked with our families, got some information together and created this plan. This is going to lead us over the next several years and help us strengthen our school infrastructure. So when we talk about preparing our students for the future, they need to be in a learning environment that supports that modern future, right? That 21st century education needs to happen, that space needs to be created for them. And our facilities master plan is our roadmap. That's how we're going to get things done. So again, I just want to express my deepest gratitude for everyone that has walked along this path with us, our educators, our support staff, our administrators, our community leaders. Just thank you so much for being a part of this journey with us, and thank you for allowing me to join you as well. So again, just thank you so much for everyone being here today, and I can't wait to hear of more accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Colon. And you may have heard of this group before because they are wonderful. We would like to introduce our Chavez Mariachis under the direction of Luis Kiko Talamontes.
igual no somos bien reservados. Ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 la.
Bravo, bravo. I told you there's a lot of talent here at Stockton Unified School District. Another round of applause for our Cesar Chavez Mariachi. Wow, they are wonderful. They are wonderful. And now we would like to bring up a moment you've been waiting for, our State of the District with Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Michelle Rodriguez.
I think actually what you were waiting for was what you just saw, right? Yeah. So don't worry. That's my favorite too. So, well, in 11 minutes, we are going to go virtual in the classroom. So I'm going to go through some of these slides. What you're going to see is what I'm going to talk about is actually represented in the State of the District report. So you guys got first dibs on it. So you get to see it first, and then we'll actually be able to display it. I also want to draw your attention to the back just really quick. So if you are a staff member, then you are at our staff kickoff. And so during our staff kickoff this year, so last year, we brought in an outside person to do this sketch. And everyone, hands down afterwards, said, "Why'd you do that? We have talent ourselves. Why did you bring in other people?" And so we had a subset of our very own teachers. Temo is here. He was one of the lead teachers. And they put this together. It's not, he told me it's still only 90% done. But I want to, last year we had a theme of joy, trust, and belief. This year, it's imagine the possibilities. And so we are going to be displaying this. Once it's done, we're going to be displaying it in the district office permanently. And I just wanted to draw attention to it because this isn't about just 1 year. It's actually not even about 2-4. It's about us consistently, year in and year out, doing what we need to do for students so that we can see this trajectory for our students, for ourselves, and for the community. And so this is a representation of us taking our internal talent and being able to apply it to where we show not only ourselves, but also our children, that we give ourselves the permission, the power, and the space to dream. And so that's really what this is about, right? And so, just so appreciate it, I really encourage you to go over there and see it, and then in a couple of months, come to the district office and see it in its final form, because Tamo and crew, they are going to be adding representation that our very staff asked, they drew and asked to put on there. They're going to be drawing those representations on there. So there's going to be little pieces of our staff that are going to be on there. And if you gave us one at the kickoff, you'll see yourself in there. So going back to our numbers, so this is us, right? And I think who we are and who we support matters, right? It matters that we support 72% Latino, 9% Asian, 8% African American, 4% white. It matters that we have 14% of our students who are receiving special services, right? It matters that we have 2% of our students that are without permanent housing, right? And 81% of our students who live in poverty, and 24% of students who are English learners. Some would say, wow, that's a challenging district. For me, I think it actually is a benefit because we, every single day, every single moment, are thinking of them. They aren't just a small subset of students or a small subset that we have to say, oh, let's remember them like an afterthought. Actually, it's every moment of every day because that's primarily who we serve. So for me, it's actually a blessing that we have students that we choose every day to advocate for. And so when we're thinking about that advocacy, we have to have these goals. So I'm a really goal-driven person. So Tiffany Ashworth, where's you and your crew? So there's a whole group there. So go ahead and stand up. Let's have, and Dr. Ramirez, you can stand up too. Rosie, Tiffany Lupian, Dr. Ramirez, go stand on up. So they did some really hard work this past year, and they worked with our parent leaders, they worked with our community partners, and we revamped our LCAP goals. The reason why this is important is because this too isn't just for 1 year. Although we might make slight modifications out of it, it's not just for 1 year either. And so these goals that you see here, hopefully you also see today. Right? So when we're talking about academic excellence, and we're talking about centering around the whole child, do you think of the children that you've seen today, do you think that they feel a sense of identity and belonging and agency? They sure do, right? They do. And when you are thinking, when we're looking at the modern student, so we're talking about the passions, interests, and talents of modern students, the mariachi that was just up here, that is a passion of theirs that they work day in and day out to get that good, right? So they have been on Good Morning America. They have been all over the place being celebrated because of how fantastic they are, right? Mr. Coleman's jazz band is celebrated everywhere. Our building, I was just telling my husband, reminding him, our building is after Mr. Coleman. Why? Because he does such a great job of allowing all those students to follow their passions, interests, and talents, right? He knows how to be a combination of a mentor, a father, a counselor, and a pusher, right? So he knows how to push the students to their very best. And when we're thinking about meaningful partnerships, right, that's why we have you here today. That's why it was so important that we wanted to have our families here, right? Our parent leaders here, our community leaders here, right? So I see Mayor Lincoln walked in after introduction, so Mayor Lincoln is here as well. So we have, round of applause for him. So we have county here, we have county office here, we have city here, right? All because we know that those meaningful partnerships will lead us to higher heights than we can individually. And then our goal 5 is around our students with special needs. So we know we need to do more for our students with special needs. We also know that that number is growing. It is now 14%. So we have to do something in order to continue to support those students so that they have all of these things that we're saying for every child, and then our African American Black students. So we know that when we look at our numbers, that's why we're doing the equity audit, we know unfortunately right now we can sometimes predict outcomes. We don't want to be able to predict outcomes, right? So these goals are very meaningful because they represent part of not only the why, but the how of how we're going to do things. And so going to part of who we are, the thing that we're trying to focus on, and now that we are getting stability and growth, is to identify what is the SUSD way. Who are we, and who do we want to say that we are? Right? And then act accordingly to that. And so these are the core values So I do something called Conversations with the Superintendent, where every Tuesday and Thursday, I go to school sites and I meet with a different school, and they help me to come up with these core values. I didn't just go poof. Here are the 6 core values. This actually came from people. And the number 1, which if you calculated it, because they did it in groups, and we had 170 groups of staff, so approximately about 800 staff members, that said accountability for all. They wanted me to be accountable. They wanted staff to become accountable, parents, students, right? At every single level to be accountable. So that's one reason, too, why we're doing what we're doing today. To not only celebrate the good work, but also hold us accountable to continue to do the work forward. And then I think as you're looking at this, you're probably hopefully seeing today these core values in play, right? Hopefully you're seeing community. This is community. This is the essence of community. The world-class education, where it's building off of the passions, interests, and talents of students, optimism, and then a safe space for all. And we're going to talk about some of those. So part of what has to happen is you put the money where your priorities are. So people often say, if you look at where you're spending your money, that actually is your priority, right? And so when we look at it, we know that to be true for us as well. So we have almost 90% of our funds are in people, which is normal. Most school districts, that is true. But it's true here too. So if we believe that children are the most important, then we have to believe that people that are engaging with children every single day are also the most important, which is why we allocate 90% of our budget to people, right? And then you can see the rest are operating services, books, and then capital. So here are a few data points. So the data points are actually much better than last year's data points. But I want to just mention quickly that this is just the beginning of a bit, right? So the goal is, again, what I said at the very beginning, it's not what we do one year, but it's what we do repeatedly year after year. So if we can make 3% growth in math, and then this year we can do 4, and then 5, then you have made multi-digit growth, right? And so we are investing in literacy. We believe and we know that if a child cannot read, doors are shut for them, right? So it's hard enough sometimes to go to school as a student, to go to school if you think it's boring. But it's really, really hard to go to school if it's both boring and hard, right? And we know that when it's hard, it can get hard when you cannot read and every single day is a struggle. Even us as adults, how many of us do things that every day are a struggle? Not often, right? Sometimes little pieces we'll say, okay, I can handle something I could really hate for 45 minutes, an hour. But you wouldn't do it for 6 hours, right? And so we want to make sure that we're investing in literacy so that our students in kinder, first, second, third grade, and up are all reading at grade level. And so we've really invested in that. We have, when the dashboard comes out, you will see that we made growth in both ELA and math. And the ELA is going to continue to increase. So it's something about SIPS, which is our foundational literacy work, is it starts K2, then we go to K3, then K4, then K5, right? And the SBAC assessment starts at grade 3. So it's not always going to capture, at the first couple of years, it's not always going to capture the good work that we're doing. So I would just encourage everybody to stay the course, right? Stay the course. And then math, we increased by 3%. seal of biliteracy. So we believe that bilingualism is important. And so we increased that by 51% this past year, in 1 year, 51%. And this is really, I think, incredible. I know that Nathan, Krista, and Rachel, sorry, I could only think in Nevados for a second. Rachel, can you stand up for a second? Nathan, Krista, and Nathan. Oh, he's over there. Okay. This is really important because you can sit down now. Thank you. I just wanted people to see who you are in case they didn't know. So we didn't really have this programming in K-8 prior. We focused specifically on high school. So now we have 90, it's a pretty high number, we want it to be 100, but 90% of our K-8 students can engage in STEM, either elective or after-school program, or sometimes both, right? So we're gonna get that to 100, right? We're gonna get that to 100, but it's at 90 now. As was mentioned, so I'll start with the middle, graduation rates is the highest in the history of the district. We're gonna get that to 90. Let's get it to 90, right? So we're at 84.7 right now. We decreased chronic absenteeism. This year we're trending well. We want to get it down to 25%, right? That's a lofty goal, but we want to do that because if kids are not in school, they not only don't get the education, they also don't get the connection or the services, right? And so we want them to be there. And then this is something I think that is really incredible, and we want this to be 100% too. Because we want every child to say, I go to school because I love X, whatever that X is, right? And so right now we have 87% of our students that are either enrolled in AP Honors, International Baccalaureate, dual enrollment, a CTE course, Project Lead the Way, which is a type of STEM, visual arts, performing arts, music, or world language, right? So this is their passions, interests, and talents, right? So when we say to children, what do you want to learn? Or when you ask them, how can we change school? They said, let me learn what I want to learn, right? So we want to do that. So we are doing some really great work with equity in the arts. And so Cindy Wildman, who's right there, let's give her a round of applause. She has really helped us to increase the amount of arts that we have, especially at our K-8 school. And so if you look at it, we have hired 13 new arts teachers just this year, 13. And so you'll see how they are arranged. So elementary, you'll see that we have a subset. Secondary, we also have a subset. And it is amazing because these 69 teachers, so we have 69 credentialed teachers in the arts, they are supporting 11,265 students. Can you believe that? That many students. So really appreciate, so let's give a round of applause for Tito, Art Coleman, all the, where's Chris? So he's for Edison. Because when you think of their work, they don't just support a class of 30, right? They are supporting hundreds of children within their classes. And so we're so fortunate to have that, where we have 11,265 students who are able to engage in the arts each and every day. And so going back to career technical education, a lot of times children don't know what they want to do in the moment, right? And so even my son changed course after he graduated from college. And guess what? That's okay, because what we know is these CT pathways, they build skills that can be applied wherever they want to take them. So if you are talking to our Skills USA students who are here in the red coats, right? They will tell you that those skills that they're learning are going to be able to take them to wherever they decide to be, even if it's different from when they were 16 or when they were 21. But we do want children and students to be able to be invested and look at these pathways. And so because of that, we have 50 CTE pathways. We often hear people say, hands-on education is gone. Like, we don't have hands-on education. That is so not true. We actually have, and it's right here, 4,730 high schoolers who are currently involved in a CTE pathway, right? And the thing that we want them to do is to complete that full program of study. So 988 might not sound like a lot at the moment, but it is quantum leap for where we were several years ago, right? And the reason why the program study is important, so that's at least 2 classes, we prefer 3, but that means that they've done 2 classes of the same kind, not bebopping from one thing to the other, is because we're trying to build generative learning. What that means is I'm learning how to learn versus learning something specific, right? Because the world keeps changing. So I might need to know this now, but believe me, 2 years from now, we're not going to need to know that. We're going to need to know something else. So we are wanting them to stay consistent on a path, not because we're like, okay, you chose the agriculture pathway, now you have to go to agriculture. It's not that. We want them to sustain so that they build these skills so that then they know, okay, even though I don't want to do agriculture anymore, that sustainment, I learned these skills, these strategies, I will now apply it to whatever new I want to do now, right? And so we're really proud, and we're going to continue to expand and move forward on that. Another thing is, we heard earlier about culturally responsive instruction, right? We need students to actually see themselves in the work that they do, so that when they come to school, they see themselves in the halls, they see themselves in the work that they do. And so something that is extremely unique about Stockton Unified, and you should be extremely proud of, is the fact that we have ethnic studies that actually resembles our community, right? So give a round of applause for that. So this year we started the Black and African American Studies course. So we had that for the first time in Stockton. We also have the Filipino American Studies, which is brand new as well. And it has been present for many years, but to be recognized, we have the Mexican American History and the Native American Indian Studies. So, well, good job on that. And we have over 1,133 students who are selecting to do that as one of their electives and courses. And so now we have a saying of show, not tell. And so we're going to be patching through. You guys ready? Okay. So we're going to be patching through to the agricultural science classroom here at STAG. So all the beautiful flowers that you see, and we will go to our Melinda Mesa.
Well, hello. Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. Now, if you look around there in our Stag's new barn, you'll see some beautiful floral arrangements. Those arrangements were prepared and designed and made by SUSD students here in Stag High School's floral culture class. Right now, they're working on arrangements right now. Like I've said many times this morning, there is a lot of talent here at SUSD. These students have been working on these arrangements all morning because these arrangements actually go for sale. Each month, they design these arrangements and people are able to purchase it. We are live in the Stag Floriculture classroom here at Stag High School. We have the instructor, Mr. Damon Arceo, with us this morning. What is this class all about?
So the floriculture classes are all about preparing students for careers in agriculture, event planning, and especially in the floriculture industry.
And they are learning design and they actually put these bouquets together?
Yes, so we do a lot of arrangements, especially in our Floral 3 class, which we just started this year. They're doing different types of arrangements, large to small, for different types of events, pretty much every single week.
That is so awesome. And they're not only learning design and floral arrangements, but I would say business and marketing.
Yeah, one of the biggest parts of our class is the floral subscriptions, and we wouldn't have any subscriptions to make if it wasn't the students figuring out how to plan and advertise so that every single student in our floral class is able to make these designs every month.
Well, and then they learn the design, the business, and the marketing aspect to advertise them.
Yeah, they're making posters, they're going like classroom to classroom, advertising it to teachers and students. So they're definitely learning a lot of skills beside floral, including public speaking and planning and teamwork.
Wow, a lot going on here in the floriculture classroom at Stagg High School. I want to show you, just this morning, I've seen some of these bouquets develop, and I'm seeing the talent here. Let me ask you, what do you like best about this class?
About the class, I really like learning how to identify all the flowers so I could go to competitions and compete.
Oh, wow. And speaking of competitions, I know this class has taken a lot of awards at some of these competitions. I could tell you're focused on your design. What do you like best about this class?
I like how I learn about flowers.
You learn about flowers. Oh, you're doing beautiful work over here. And we see, oh, this one looks like it's almost complete. What do you like best about this class?
New experiences and getting to know other people and learning how to do flowers and all that.
Well, you're doing beautiful work, beautiful work. And we have another student here who's been working away. What do you like about this class?
What I like about this class is that I'm able to develop new skills and be able to make new friendships from it.
Wow, you're doing beautiful work.
Okay, so it wouldn't be Melinda, and I can't use her voice if she wouldn't say, "This is Melinda Mesa reporting from Stockton, Unified." She is an Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, so she does it so much better than me, but that is what you would have said. So hopefully, though, you got a little taste. We always try to do a virtual visit during this event, because some are in classrooms every single day, but some are not. And so, anyways, I just want, hopefully you saw some great things. So whether it was the COE board dinner the other night, or you see anytime that we have flowers, all of these were done by our students. And so give a round of applause for that. And so I'm just going to speak a little bit longer, and then we got some students to watch. We got some more presentations coming up. So we have our Extended Learning Opportunity Program, and so Mary Rogers, stand on up, and your staff. So they do some really fantastic work. We have almost 10,000 students that every day are with us for over 8, 9, 10 hours, right? So they are with us from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. And so they're doing some really great work. They are making investments to continue to expand not only the morning program, but also the afternoon program. Some of the programs that they offer, I think people do not actually know about. So one thing that we heard last night from our DLAC parents was actually that our students don't always take advantage or know about what we offer. And so I'd really encourage, if parents are out there and they're paying attention to this and they need a safe place for their child to have fun, learn, receive tutoring and supports, that they reach out and become part of this, because they do everything from robotics and esports, visual and performing arts. They do a lot of enrichment during that time. And so just talking about the equity audit, so Dr. Dwight Rogers, stand on up. Dr. Rogers, he is our Director of Equity, Inclusion, and Parent Engagement. He's going to be leading that effort. But I'm mentioning it today because equity is the job of everyone, right? And the choices, we cannot have equity, systemic equity, if we don't have every single person being consciously making decisions that support every child, each and every child, right? So it can't just be his job, my job. It has to be everyone in the system that their daily decisions are built off of what is best for every single child. But we are moving forward with it, so we have built these equity teams. We are going to be collecting comprehensive data from all 55 sites so that we can really calibrate practices and develop this 3-year action plan, because it's not going to happen overnight. But if we do not have a plan that everyone has co-created and determined, we will not make the steps that we need to forward. So we're looking forward to that equity audit. And then Dr. Franco, all of our Stockton Unified Police Department, Marcus Omlin is here. So Marcus, we introduced you earlier. They have been working hard to one of the key things that I heard about, which is safety, right? That we have to ensure the physical and mental safety of our students. And so as we look at these, we've done a lot of changes, and we will continue to do a lot of changes to ensure that our students are safe in schools, that our staff are safe in schools, and we're going to continue that effort moving forward. And so this isn't the end, because there's a lot of good student stuff coming up, so don't leave. But I want to thank you from my part for being here, and my ask or my call to action for you all is to find one piece of information in this state of the district that you did not know prior, and be an ambassador for the district of the good work that we're doing. Because many people that I talk to, they don't know all of this that we're doing. They are thinking about the Stockton of 5 years, 10 years ago. So I encourage you and ask you, my call to you is to pick just one thing that you are like, oh, I didn't know that they have 11,000 students in the arts. I didn't know this. And broadcast that so that you broadcast the work that our students and our 5,000 staff members are doing every day. So thank you for being here, and let's see more students.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. And I understand, you know, live TV is live TV. Look what I brought back from this downtown. Where I was reporting live to the Stockton Unified School District. I know that. Thank you again, Dr. Rodriguez. Next we'll continue our talent that we have for you today with some poetry. I'd like to introduce these two students. I'm going to put my flowers down, so I want to make sure I say that we have Kiana Aimee. She's an 8th grade student at Hong Kingston Valenzuela Elementary School, and Deshaun Aimee, 11th grader from Edison High School. Please come up. And we have a poem that we created for us today. These are both Stockton Unified School District students, and they are very talented.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Deshaun Aimee, and I'm in 11th grade, and I go to Edison High School.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kiana Aimee, and I'm in 8th grade, and I go to Hong Kingston Elementary School.
Supporting unstoppable student dreams where every spark of passion gleams, guiding each student as they take flight, helping them reach their greatest height. Together we light the path they paved, empowering hearts to be bold and brave.
No, 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 no. Deshaun, SUSD might be supporting Unstoppable Dreams, founded in 1852, they say. So California's been schooling since way back in the day. But what's the state of schools right now? 11 high schools in SUSD might not seem like a lot, but almost 35,000 students can feel like a crowd.
Anyways, back to me. In the halls where knowledge thrives, awakened minds ignite their drives. Classrooms buzzing with voices that share, ideas and questions that be filling the air. Books, projects, and hands-on learning shape the future of who they'll be turning.
But wait a minute. There might be projects, books, hands-on learning, but what about me? I'm 13 in the 8th grade trying to shine through SUSD.
Teachers and mentors always on call, lifting students whenever they may fall. Nurturing skills, fuel their fire, inspiring us to dream even way higher. Homework and tests are steps on the way to learning and growing stronger each day. Every lesson, a new door unlocked, every triumph, a confidence is stalked. From science labs to art rooms so bright, we paint their paths in color of light. We cheer for each win, big or small. For every student, we stand tall.
Well, Deshaun, come on now. SUSD still has mountains to climb. Safety, bullying, racism, mental health, those are still clouds that get in the way of every student trying to shine.
And that's why we're all here today, because SUSD has challenges that make for a tough ask, but we're all committed to building character with every tough task, answering the questions our students are brave enough to ask.
So equip us with knowledge, we are ready to soar. Guide every SUSD student with pathways they can explore. Because we're looking at college, we're thinking about community. We have our eyes in the future, and we're aiming to do more.
Thank you, SUSD.
Wonderful. Kiana and Deshaun, Amin, oh, very, very talented. We saw their performance at another event that we had at Edison High School, and we said, oh, we have to have them at our State of the District so you all can be treated to their talent as well. And speaking of talent, next up we have our Kennedy dancers. Again, a lot to be proud of here in Stockton Unified. This next group, our Edison concert band, will be going to Carnegie Hall in the spring. That's how good they are. Let's bring our Edison concert band home. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And again, they'll be performing at Carnegie Hall in the spring. Congratulations to them. Next, our keynote speaker, I'd like to bring up Dr. Victor Rios.
Buenos dias, Stockton. Good morning. I'm very excited to be here. You know, I'm looking at the state of the district, right? Magazine, it's beautiful, right? And I'm looking like at the good news, but I'm also looking at the growth area. And, you know, this community is a community of struggle. It's a working class community. 81% of your students are in poverty. 81%. So let me just begin by saying, just because some of us are broke doesn't mean we're broken. And just seeing some of these wonderful young people in action with the beautiful poetry and the dancing and the music and the academics, man, y'all are onto something. As your superintendent said, y'all ain't 5 years ago, y'all ain't 10 years ago, y'all are 2024. As a community of education, of scholars, of leadership. And it is in uplifting student voice, student background, student pride, where you get the most bang for your buck. 20 years of research. And that's what I boil it down to. Followed a group of kids in Oakland, California for 3 years, and they were getting in trouble, getting kicked out of school. Hanging out with them. They went to court, I was in court. They're at the park, ditching school, I was at the park. They were getting thrown in the back of patrol cars. I was younger back then. I was getting thrown in the back of patrol cars too with them. Then I went to Southern California. 5 years, hung out with a group of gang members. For 5 years, every weekend, you can ask my wife, I was gone. And it took a toll on the family. I got to not just see, but feel what some of these young people were going through. Again, not because folks are broke, just because they're broke doesn't mean they're broken. And it's time to stop treating our communities as if they're broken. Thank you. So what are the assets that young people who appear disengaged, who are chronically absent, and we have so many terms, right? What are their assets that they bring to the table? Well, I'll tell you, one of the assets is to be a shapeshifter. You see, in psychology, there's a term for people that are able to adapt to different environments. It's called proteanism. It comes from Proteus, Greek mythology. Raise your hand if you know Proteus. Oh, a couple of my nerds, yes. It's always the people with glasses like, oh, I know Proteus. By the way, I was an avid reader in the hood. I was, when I was little. Then I dropped it in 3rd grade, and I had an 8-year learning loss. You see, my journey as learning to be a shapeshifter begins when I'm a little toddler. I'm at the park in East Oakland, California, with my mom and my brother. He's a few years older than me. And then the sun is setting, and we're under a tree. And I start getting cold. I got my t-shirt on, and I'm like, Mamá, ¿a qué hora nos vamos a casa? What time we going home? What time we going home? And she looks at me with this blank stare, and she says, we're not going home. I didn't pay the rent. We're sleeping under this tree. That's the moment as a little kid that I realized we were broke. But over time, I had to learn that just because we were broke, we were not broken. That journey led me into the streets, led me to leave education. But I remember how my early childhood education teachers uplifted me. They would whisper in my ear, even though I didn't know how to read, like, Victor, you're going to be a great reader. You're going to do big things in life, Victor. They would encourage my mom to treat me right, because quite frankly, my mom had a lot of mental health issues, and she would beat me. They would be there to protect me. That was my security. And then one day I disappeared from school. I'm on the streets. I end up caught up in juvie. And well, some of you know this story, because when I travel to communities of struggle, doesn't matter what part of the country I'm in, I'll drive around a 10-block radius of the school I'm about, and I just do a little spiral until I pull up to the school. And I did that this morning here. And I did my little spiral, and I'm seeing little homies walking down the street. And I want to roll down my window because I'm an interventionist. I want to be like, hey, homie, go back to school. But, you know, you got a job to do over here. And I'm not in my hood, so I don't want to, you know, get caught lacking. And then I don't want the, you know, officers that are around think I'm like, you know, thinking like I'm creeping around or something. So I just do my little ethnographer, my little researcher spiral. And then I get to my community that I need to go to. But it tells me a lot about where children are at, where young people are at, and how they're being cared for or not cared for. Yeah. So I want you to picture in your mind someone you know, a young person, maybe one of the young people we see around this very morning, someone you've worked with, someone that you know, a lot of you leaders or leading educators that your educators work with, or someone in your life, in your community. I want you to picture a student that you imagine is not doing well, that is disengaged in school, that has difficult behaviors. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Picture that student. Close your eye. Picture that student. Who is it? Doesn't have to have a name, just someone you saw around. Disengaged, chronically absent, at risk. You got them in your mind? Or her? Or them? Okay. So when you have them in your mind, what do they need the most to succeed? What do they need the most to re-engage? You got the answer? Okay. Keep the answer for a second. Hold it in place. Let me give you a few statistics. CASEL, the social emotional learning organization, it's found that 70% of low-income students, 81% in your community, reported emotional support as their number one need from teachers. The number one need from teachers. I went on with this data and did my own study, 1,800 students. I wanted to compare middle-class students. Do middle-class students have the same need? It turns out, speaking of the equity conversation, middle-class kids don't have the same emotional need, at least when they report to us, as low-income students. That is a huge finding because, again, equality is one thing. You treat everyone with the same emotional support and the same informational support. Equity is, oh, I see the data. Our low-income students are requiring more from us in emotional support and less in informational support. And I could break that down another time, what that means. There's 4 kinds of support in the research literature. But the important thing for you to know that working class kids thrive on emotional support. So students who reported low levels of teacher support were 30% more likely to be disruptive in school. So if a student doesn't feel that their teachers got their back, they're going to be disruptive. So really quick, 3 volunteers. 3 volunteers, raise your hand real quick. Yes, sir, all the way, over here. Yes, ma'am, come on up. And one more. Yes, come on up, quick. All right. So really quick, pass the mic, just tell me in 3 lines, who was the student you were picturing? Tell me a little bit about them, and what do they need the most to be able to succeed? Here you go.
I see a student walk around Delta College, very promising student, but sometimes feels a little bit disengaged.
What do they need from you?
Support.
Okay, thank you.
I had 3 students, chronically disruptive, but they got all the attitude. Those are the ones I'm looking for. Because what they need is a platform for their voice.
Fingers, that's that one. Platform
All right, I have little Johnny pictured in my head being pulled out of the classroom because he's being disruptive. What he needs is engagement in the classroom.
Engagement in the classroom. Thank you very much. Thank you. A platform for their voice. Woo. This is all homegrown, right? You don't need outside people to come tell you what you need to be doing. You all know what you need to be doing, right? It's a matter of elevating your own voices, the voices of those brilliant teachers that are doing the work. That's who we need to elevate. So check this out. This is my guy, 2024. That's my disruptive students. I show up, I run a program. First thing he does, he takes that gold watch, and I'm trying to talk to them, introduce my name is Dr. Rios. I'm here to hype you up. I'm here to set up a platform for your voice. And he takes his gold watch on the desk. For 2 hours. Right? That's my instinct. Hey, little homie, chill. One week later after the intervention, platform for their voice. 1 week later, after working with this young man and his little squad, he gets on a stage like this with stakeholders, a state senator in the room too, and he speaks poised with his voice, his community's voice. And not only that, but policy and program implications for the stakeholders in the room. I liked it so much, what he did, that I invited him to go to a national conference, National Association of Alternative Education in Tucson, Arizona. He rolls up. Check him out presenting. Oh, that's me, never mind. My bad. The picture, it'll come up later. All right, now I left you hanging, but trust me, you're going to see him presenting at a national conference in a minute. But meanwhile, just thinking of him, I thought of myself, and not too long ago, in 1994, this is me getting dragged through the hallway in school by a police officer, dragged out of school, gang fight. That's a school resource officer pulling me out of school. That's me. So even though I was impatient with this young man, I recognized that was me back in the day. And who stepped in for me was my teacher. It was, her name was Miss Russ. Estaba loca, she was a little crazy. She was crazy enough to believe in kids like me. She was crazy enough to drive into our neighborhood on a Sunday morning in her beat-up Honda Civic and knock on every door. She was crazy enough to convince other teachers that kids like me could actually have a chance in life. And because of her, by 11th grade, my best friend passed away in front of me. I needed help. She guided me. She caught me up on my credits, or she helped me catch up on my credits. 2 years of lost credit. She helped me catch up in 1 year. I'm proud to tell you, with the help of this lady, I graduated from high school on time and with my class. Hey, this lady was crazy enough to tell me I wasn't done with school yet. Victor, I'm so proud of you. I knew you could do it. Now it's time to go to college. I'm like, college, me? Man, what is this teacher thinking? I'm going to college. And she's like, oh, big secret. It's in the literature, it's in the research. You want to inspire working class kids? For the most part, most working class kids, regardless of ethnic background, come from a familial culture. It's just the way your blue-collar life is set up. You're not just relying on your household for food. You go next door. You're at your uncle's house. That happened to me. He's got 7 kids. My nickname was number 8. They put a plate, a guisado, con chilito, tortillas hechas a mano. I don't know where or how they did it, but they fed us all. Even the street family members. Because my mom was gone. We didn't have food. And he was a recycler. I don't know how they did it, but they fed us. So that's blue collar life for you. And my teacher recognized that. So instead of saying to me, hey, Victor, go to college, get away from the hood, never come back. Get out of Stockton, never come back. That's the implicit message sometimes. You gotta, the equity work, you gotta measure for that. The message should be, hey, you wanna help your family? Yeah, I wanna help my, you wanna help your community? Yeah, I wanna help my community. You wanna give back? You wanna build us up? Yep. Then go to college, come back and do that. That message will go a lot farther. Yes, it will. So I'm going to leave you with a concept. I love leaving this concept. My educators, when I say educators, I mean educere, Latin word, where education comes from. Educere means to lead forth. That means everyone in this community is an educator. This little pamphlet says you're working on the whole child, whole family, whole community as a district. If you're going to say that, then I need you to commit to it. That means every single one of you in here, you're educators too. Educere, you're leading forth. And so, when you're leading forth, you have to project for people. Especially my leaders in here. You can't just show up like, oh, no ganas, right? No, I'm tired. Hey, how you doing? I'm tired. Hey, tired people are the only people that have made a change in this world, folks. So, okay, yeah, I'm tired, but let's handle business. And I'm going to lead you by projecting for you. My staff, I'm going to project for you that your self-efficacy is going to build, because the number one indicator of success for teachers is when their self-efficacy is up. Self-efficacy is simple. My belief that every single one of you in this room, I'm going to reach with this message. Same thing with teachers. My belief that every single child in this room, I'm going to change their life. By the way, when you measure for high self-efficacy, what you end up finding is that teachers report high job satisfaction too. So you want to bring up high job satisfaction. You know it's low right now. Then you want to build their self-efficacy. Why am I talking about teachers so much? Because you got to lead from the middle. They're the ones changing lives. And all of us are supporting them. Let's have their back so they could have our students' backs. So my teacher would project for me, right? She'd be like, Victor, I know one day you're going to do great things. You're going to be a professional. I was like, estás loca, lady. Oh, you're going to meet presidents. I'm like, lady, you crazy. And 20 years later, I get invited to the White House. I show up. I'm in the Eisenhower building. I'm talking to the Domestic Policy Council for 4 hours. They give me a ticket to go see the president speak. I don't know about Stockton, but how we do it is you give us one ticket for one event for one person. We're bringing the whole family. And please, embrace familial culture. Don't be that person, I'm sorry, forgive me, Fire Marshal, if you're in here. Only 2 tickets per graduate. And then the whole family's outside barbecuing. Embrace that. Because when I make it, my whole family makes it. My whole community makes it. So embrace it. That's Stockton. I know that's Stockton, because that's a working class community. That's how we roll. Yeah. And that's just the kindergarten graduation I'm talking about. I get to the White House, I bring my whole family, right? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I bring my whole family. There's my little boy eating cotton candy. There's only senators, Congress people are there with their families. Somehow I made it in there. We crashed the party. There's Obama. My little boy's got throwing up the... And then President Obama comes up to me and my son, and I'm holding my son in my arm. The president raises his hand up like this. He shakes my hand, raises his hand up like this, looks at my boy in the eyes, and he says to my boy, "Give me 5. Don't leave me hanging." And my boy hesitates. And I'm like, "Marco, don't leave me hanging." And he finally gave me like a little side eye, and then he high-fived the president. I even got a picture of it. There it is. So I started on a negative. I started on a deficit. I told you that 81% of children here in poverty. Actually, 81% of children here are working class. And they're being taught to work hard. And those of you that are tired, remember how hard the children and their families work in our communities, and maybe that'll give you that extra boost to be that right kind of leader in our community, the right kind of, as you said it, to lead forth, the right kind of person that's going to pass on this message that we will make things better in this district because the children of our communities deserve it. There's a little homie. I promise you I will show him. Look at him presenting at a national conference. There he is. He's even quoting famous people. It says, turn your wounds into wisdom and your struggles into superpowers. Who is that? Oh, that's Dr. Rios right there that he's quoting. But there he is. That's a little homie. Like, they change when you give them the right support. And it turns out that emotional support's number one. And I'm not talking about week one, school opens up, we're going to get to know your story. Okay, we got your story. Now sit down, shut up, and learn some math. Right? It's more than that. It's day-to-day, constant SEL work throughout every curriculum, every subject. Final thing about research, we did a study. We gave it a math teacher, middle school, SEL activities for 30 days. Her class had less math instruction. Next door, control group, more math instruction, like usual. Tested the kids 30 days later. Low-income community. Kids that got more SEL, a little bit less math, ended up doing better on the math test. Because once they were ready to learn, they captured more than a long math lecture. So in conclusion, as a community, right, we come together to embrace families, to empower students, to create educator self-efficacy, and to produce ecosystems of cariño. That's what we do. That's how we improve the lives of our students. My name is Dr. Rios. I want to let you know that my teacher believed in me so much. She tricked me into believing in myself. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rios. Thank you, Dr. Victor Rios, with us today. We'd like to thank all of you for coming, and we'd like to thank some of our sponsors and partners, Grand Canyon University, Schools First Credit Union, AT&T, and Stockton Kings. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. We leave you with SUSD, Onward, Imagine the Possibilities.